So far in the series, I've talked about 2 separate instances of Mario Kart music being used in the Paper Mario series in some form. One towards the end of Color Splash, where a remix of N64's Rainbow Road can be heard, and another in Origami King, where an arrangement of Wii's Maple Treeway is played. Well, there's actually one more Mario Kart song that's referenced in this series that I haven't covered yet. Do you know what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's way back in the first Paper Mario game. Okay, fine, I'll tell you, but only because you're making these puppy dog eyes at me. In order to get to the second chapter of the game, you have to break this rock in Toad Town that's blocking this train's access to the Dry Dry Railroad, wherein you're taken to Mount Rugged in said train. In this cutscene that plays when you ride to and from Mount Rugged, this fun little tune plays. This one is way more subtle as it's not a clear-cut arrangement of the song, but this section right here is definitely taken from Mario Kart 64's Calamari Desert. This is a perfect song choice for this cutscene because, as you've probably put together by now, the train itself takes huge inspiration from these trains in Calamari Desert. It's a black and red train with gold detailing that rides across the desert, and is even named K64. Paper Mario has so many great examples of quoting music from elsewhere in the Mario series that it could honestly have its own musical trivia episode. That would be a great video. If you guys ever find anyone on YouTube that does that kind of content, you should totally let them know about that. For now though, we gotta talk about some more Mario Kart. Yeah, it's Ty, back with some more musical trivia. We've had some more booster pass waves released for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe since the last one, so I thought it was about time I did a part 3. As usual, I'd recommend that you go watch those first 2 parts beforehand, but hey, I'm not your mom. Before we get into the new stuff though, there's more bits I missed in the last 2 parts for me to address real quick. This is going to be a permanent segment for this series, isn't it? First thing I should mention is that there's actually 3 more instances of the Super Mario Kart title motif that I previously missed. The first is in Mario Kart 7's online play, where you can hear the motif in the Spectating music. The second is a game I haven't mentioned yet, Mario Kart Arcade GPDX. It appears in the menu music right here. And the last one isn't in an actual game, but the trailer for a game that's not real and should never be played. It's just the first 5 notes of the song played in different pitches, but it's definitely meant to be the motif. I'm 97% sure now that I've accounted for every instance of this motif. If there's still some that I missed between all 3 of these episodes somehow, be sure to let me know though. There was another bit I missed last time when talking about 3DS Toad Circuit that appears in, again, Mario Kart Arcade GPDX. For the Peach's Castle course in this game, the music uses the intro portion of Toad Circuit, almost note for note. This course looks like it takes a lot of visual and structural inspiration from Mario Kart 7's Mario Circuit, which just so happens to share Toad Circuit's music in that game, so this is likely why this bit of music was referenced here. Oh shit, this game has Pac-Man in it? Let's see. Oh no! Regarding Mario Kart 7, I also talked about how it, on top of using the Super Mario Kart motif of course, also quotes Wii's title theme in its own title theme. But what I failed to mention is that it directly quotes another title screen theme as well, pretty clearly in fact. Don't know how that one passed me by. I guess it may have something to do with not being a Mario Kart DS kid. Okay, one more correction to make, and then we'll get into the new stuff. In Wario's shipyard, the music uses several bits from the main theme of Wario Land, like I discussed last time. However, something that I didn't notice was an incredibly brief quote from a different Wario game that they also snuck in there, doggone it. Listen to this small guitar riff that acts as a sort of background response to the main melody here. This is actually a reoccurring motif from the WarioWare series. It's most well known as Dr. Krygor's theme. But it's also used in other songs like the title screen music and 9Volt's intro, both in WarioWare Inc. Alright, that's enough cleanup. Now time for the new stuff. Gotta clear my desk real quick. There we go. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's still quite a bit of trivia left to talk about in this game, some of it decently well known and some of it less so. First, I'm gonna talk about some random scattered tidbits, and then we'll move on to a larger section that you've probably been waiting for, the crossover courses. The most well-known one to get out of the way first is that the almighty Totaka song is in this game. If you don't know what that is, Totaka's song is a 19-note jingle created by the composer Kazumi Totaka that's hidden in tons of games that he's worked on. Yeah, you get the idea. Mario Kart 8 is one of those games. If you drive up to one of these waving Yoshis on the sidelines, you can hear them humming the tune. If you're one of the ones that already knew about this, here's an aspect of it that you may not have known. This humming audio is actually Totaka himself. Actually, every Yoshi in this game is voiced by him. In fact, Kazumi Totaka is Yoshi's voice actor, and has been ever since Yoshi's story way back in 1997. Pretty cool, huh? There's a somewhat similar instance of a tune hidden diegetically elsewhere in the game as well, but this time it's specific to a single course, Water Park. Like the Yoshi one, it's a bit difficult to hear in a regular race, but this carousel at the end of the underwater section is actually emanating its own music separate from the soundtrack. You probably recognized it, but this is the Big Boo's Merry-Go-Round song from Mario 64. Personally, I think it would have made a lot more sense to swap this out for the Pinna Park carousel music from Mario Sunshine here, as Water Park seems to be loosely based on Pinna Park and Mario Sunshine as a whole. But I can't complain too much. This is still a really fun Easter egg. Alright, moving on to a couple of actual course tracks. First, Cloud Top Cruise.
Wow! Isn't that Cloud Top Cruise? What?
As a lot of you likely know already, this song contains a direct quote from Gusty Garden Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy. The song as a whole already feels largely inspired by the other in terms of its style and instrumentation, so sneaking in a little direct nod to it was definitely a no-brainer. Something I didn't notice until a comment pointed it out to me though, is that this ascending sequence of notes leading up to this part is actually a brief quote from Galaxy 2's Sky Station Galaxy as well. That's so neat. I can't believe I've never noticed this in the 9 whole years of playing this game. Wait, there's no way it's been that long, right? Oh my god. Speaking of the existentially terrifying passage of time, here's one more random course tidbit, but this time it's something retro. Whoa! In Super Bell Subway, when you're in the above ground segments, this is what the music sounds like. But when you enter the actual underground subway portion, the music gets some more intense percussion with a bit of nasty slap bass added to it. These are the notes of the classic Mario Underground theme, now acting as a sort of flavorful bass line behind the main melody of Super Bell Subway, turning it into a combination of the two, which is an incredibly creative use of the motif. It even takes over for a second at the very end of the loop. Whoa, that was a little too retro for ya. We'll reel it back a little bit from now on, okay? Oh yeah, in case you haven't noticed somehow, a lot of these bits of trivia were brought to my attention by you guys on the last two parts, so I've been throwing those comments up on screen alongside them. Thank you to those people for helping me find material to cover. If any of you watching have any bits of trivia yourself that I missed, let me know in the comments. If it's something I didn't know about, it may even show up in a future episode just like these. Alright, time for the exciting stuff, the crossover courses. In Mario Kart 8's 2 DLC waves way back in the day, 16 new courses were added to the game, several of which being ones based around other Nintendo games outside of the Mario franchise. These include Excitebike Arena, Big Blue, Mute City, Hyrule Circuit, and Animal Crossing. I don't know why they didn't give that one a somewhat creative name like the others. New Leaf Lane. There you go. I did it for you. On the surface, it may seem like there wouldn't be much to talk about here. These are all just straightforward remixes of iconic themes from each respective series, right? Well, that's actually not the case. For most of them, that is. Mute City and Big Blue seem to be the only ones that are literally just new arrangements of their original F-Zero track themes, Mute City and Big Blue, of course. The only somewhat interesting thing to mention here is that the results theme for both of these when you finish a race replaces the usual Mario Kart 8 music with a remix of
the lead results music from the original F-Zero.
I'll go ahead and start with Hyrule Circuit, of course based on the Legend of Zelda series. Zelda Mention. The song is, of course, mainly comprised of the main theme of the Zelda series, originating back in the very first Legend of Zelda as the main overworld theme. If you somehow didn't know that one, well, let's just say you may not know enough about the retro classic. The other chunk of the song that's easily recognizable is its inclusion of Zelda's lullaby later on. Which, once again, is a no-brainer if you're making a tribute to the Zelda series in any form. I would be more surprised if they didn't sneak that one in there. But on top of these two, we also have nods to two other pretty iconic Zelda songs. There's a short section from Ocarina of Time's overworld theme, Hyrule Field, and even a super brief quote from Twilight Princess's Hyrule Field, one that's actually the soundtrack's own main motif. They definitely went all out on this one. It's an insanely cool track. I remember absolutely losing my shit when I heard this for the first time as a kid. Next is Excitebike Arena, based on the NES game of the same name. Minus Arena. This one doesn't have as much going on, but it's still fun regardless. The main piece of music that's used for this song is the iconic Excitebike title screen jingle. Iconic doesn't mean good, by the way. However, there's a small quote of a different jingle from the game in this track too, this part right here. This is what plays when you get first place in Excitebike. Not the most exciting of the bunch, but still a cool detail. Oh my god, did I just say exciting? Okay, as the grand finale of this video, here's the big daddy of the crossover courses, Animal Crossing. This course famously has 4 different seasonal variants that it can appear as randomly, or selected with a button combination, each with its own seasonal theme, slightly different hazards, and yes, even music. Each of the 4, summer, autumn, winter, and spring, all start with the same intro and main melody section, but then all split off into completely different songs from all over the Animal Crossing series. So, as you can imagine, there's quite a lot to talk about. Strap in. Or should I say... I'm sorry. Each of these tracks starts off with the same 7-note intro. This is taken from a small melody that plays at the very beginning of Animal Crossing New Leaf, when you first arrive in the town during the prologue. It even reappears at the soft ending of the game, when you sit under the town tree and watch the
Town history.
Then each of the 4 songs goes into their own stylistic rendition of the main theme of Animal Crossing New Leaf, aka the title screen music. However, where autumn, winter, and spring all transition halfway through into different songs, the summer version continues and finishes out the theme completely. However, immediately afterwards, it begins playing a portion of the main street music from the same game. And that's all for the summer version. The other 3 versions are a bit simpler, but still have their own cool, unique references. Next is Autumn, aka the best one. After the intro and New Leaf theme sections, it then switches to the main theme of a different Animal Crossing game. You may recognize this as the theme of Wild World and City Folk, which both share the same theme, if you didn't know. In winter, the music then goes into, appropriately, the theme of Toy Day from the series, originating from the first title. And to finish off, it then transitions to a rendition of one of the hourly tracks from New Leaf, 7 p.m. finally, the spring version plays the theme of the very first Animal Crossing for GameCube, at least the first here in the States. The final thing I wanted to mention is that, of course, the results theme upon finishing a race on this course is the music heard in The Roost, the coffee shop seen across the Animal Crossing series, first appearing in Wild World. You may be wondering why Animal Crossing, F-Zero, and even the new Yoshi's Island track, which technically isn't even a crossover course, all have their own special results music, and even a different intro jingle in F-Zero and Yoshi's Island's case, and Hyrule Circuit does not. And yes, I'm right there with you. I have no idea why that is. I can understand Excitebike Arena lacking them, as there's very few tracks to pull from the game to begin with, but the Zelda course totally could have had something. Here's what I would have done. That's for free, Nintendo. Patch that in. Wait, actually, in return, get me some of those 3D gummy things. Do you still make those? And that wraps it up for today. As usual, let me know if there's anything I missed, or if there's any other series you'd like to see me cover in the future. Now, for the time remaining, I'm going to make my prediction list for the next 4 Booster Pass characters. So, I've been getting a lot of flack for this one. I've been getting a lot of hate thrown my way for saying this, but guys, I'm telling you, Goku is a shoo-in for this one, okay? He's like one of the most iconic video game characters. People have been asking for him for a long time. Of course they're going to put him in. It's just inevitable at this point. For the next one, I'm thinking probably Mo Simpson. And I'd like to thank my Skrunklies over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting me. Spider-Bee, Goose-Dog, Just a Penguin, Dewey, Prism, April B, Creative JK, Malin, Soy Sauce Flavored Tide Pod, Galaxy, Chico Mode, Catterall, Pewilliver, Schmooms, Blargan Snorf, Frigid Duck, Zealous, Rubbish Bunny, The Siderian, Goji Dragon, Awesome AC, Xeno Dude Face, Wunga, Toast Omatsuri, Pomlintine, Lily Swartzlander, Just Jenny, Fedco, Zacier, Wilford MF Worf, Honeycrisp, Daniel the Spaniel, Certainly Cecilia, the Papini Brothers Mystery Fighters with Jackie Rippy-Doo, and the Papini Bros Emporium. If you'd like to join these wonderful folks, you can check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Anyways, thank you for watching, and peace out.
Just grab a boob, boob, grab boob, my fucking penis, grab a boob.